everyone! This month is a really special month because it is the week Dexter starts reception class at primary school. For those unfamiliar with the UK schooling system, our kids start formal education the September after they turn 4 years old. So that's the equivalent of pre-K in the US, and then our year one is the equivalent of their kindergarten, I believe. I've had a few questions asking what kind of school Dexter is going to and how we made our choice, so I'm making this video to dig into that topic. Dexter is attending a small specialist school specifically for children with an autism diagnosis who have social and communication challenges as their main need. And by this I mean that has to be the area they need the most support in. So if their primary challenges are more, for example, emotional well-being, mental health needs, or a very significant learning disability, then different schools will be recommended. That's not saying that children at Dexter School don't have other challenges, it's just that the communication and social side is the area they all struggle in the most. I get asked this question mostly from people outside of the UK, which leads me to believe that things can be quite different depending on where in the world you are. So in an ideal world, in my ideal world, all schools would include a mix of abilities and children would be taught and guided in small groups, maybe split out by learning style, and the curriculum would be a lot more flexible to accommodate different needs. I don't know too much about the rest of the world, but I do know that in the UK, unfortunately, we are not even close to that happening, which is why parents of autistic children here often fight hard for specialist school places. I have heard some fantastic inclusion stories for children who attend mainstream, but the way things are right now, it would not have worked for Dexter, and I believe he would have just ended up segregated a lot with a one-to-one support person just doing their own thing. And the thing is, you're not in control of choosing the one-to-one person that your child gets assigned to, so I felt like that was a big risk for me to take, just hoping that person would have the right mindset and approach and the ability to advocate on his behalf and all of those things. It really worried me. In Dexter's current class, there are 7 children to 2 teachers, a teaching assistant, and a speech therapist who spends time in the room intermittently. So in the beginning, I thought, well, surely one-on-one in a mainstream will be better, you get more time with that person. But then I realised that Dexter is more likely to gain independence if he's not relying on just one person to help him access his education. Dexter isn't massively proactive in things like self-care and spontaneous communication, and he will 100% rely on someone doing things for him if they offer. Because mainstream isn't inclusive for those with quite significant needs like my son, I was concerned about Dexter feeling like there was something wrong with him as he got older. I don't know if he'll have that level of self-awareness ever, but I hated the thought of him getting picked on and then just learning to hate his differences. Dexter gets exposed to so many neurotypical children outside of school that I thought it would be really nice if inside of school he was surrounded by children he could maybe relate to a bit better. We also like that the curriculum is a lot more flexible and it's tailored to the child, and it also works on common challenges for autistic children. For example, they do about 3 times more physical activity than children in mainstream. A lot of the learning has a strong technology focus. They work on building up attention slowly by using natural interests, and their sensory needs are considered in every single thing they do. They do things like they do little school trips to practice safety and independence. Honestly, it's so perfect for Dexter. There is so much more school to home communication than in mainstream. because they understand that your child is less likely to be able to communicate what they did in their day or how they felt about it. So they take lots of pictures, they write in their online learning diaries of what they've done and how they felt about it. It's also a place for parents to form a community. Autism parent communities aren't always my favourite spaces, but I am hoping that we can find a like-minded community at his school. This is an interesting question because in the beginning I was so like, my child's going to mainstream, he's capable, he'll do fine there. And I still think he would have been fine there, but I want him to be more than just fine. I want him to thrive in an educational setting. And yeah, if you'd have told me as they handed little newborn baby Dexter into my arms for the first time that he wouldn't be suited to mainstream education and that we'd be choosing a specialist placement for him, I would have been devastated, if I'm being honest. I remember crying hard over the thought of him going to a specialist school when he was only like 2 years old. But things do change as time goes on. You learn more, you experience more, your mindset changes, your approach changes. And you know, by the time we had decided on specialists, not one single part of me felt like we'd missed out on anything. I felt relieved, I felt happy, and I felt excited for his future. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that in the beginning of his EHCP process, we were actually told to expect this to end in a court battle if we wanted this particular school, because there simply weren't any places. So I was really scared, but you know, I was ready for a fight. Long story short, we randomly got a call in February to say it was all fine and he had a place and she'd see us in September. So that was an amazing day. We did look around, actually. We looked around another autism specialist school, but it was not the right fit at all, which is crazy given that they are both autism specialists. You'd think they would be quite similar, but they were really different. Amazing in different ways, but this other one just wasn't right for Dexter. So our backup options were a resource base in a mainstream school, which kind of felt a bit to me like a room where they put the kids who would otherwise disrupt a mainstream class. I'm sure they're not all like that, but I wasn't a massive fan of the one we looked at. Or our local tiny village school, which I spoke to the head and they did seem much more inclusive. This was a mainstream. But it would have been again down to the one-to-one thing and them doing their best to fit him into a mainstream way of learning, so not ideal. Nope. Honestly, hats off to anybody who homeschools, because I really don't think I could do it. And besides, from a financial perspective, my husband and I both need to work to pay the bills, and we've had such little support in the way of therapy and things like that it's nice for Dexter to learn from somebody other than me for a change. I would say I can't give you any advice. No, I can't give you advice without knowing what your child's needs are or what schools are available in your area. It's massively child dependent and you know your child best. So I would say visit all of the schools with a completely open mind and see what vibes you get from each. But honestly, I would be interested to hear from other people who have been through this decision-making process or maybe are about to. What are your thoughts? Maybe share them in the comments. They really might help somebody else. It's always such a massive worry as a parent to a child with different needs, like, am I making the right choice? Time will tell, I guess. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.